Go to Gerhardt again, and he is stuffed. Brandon Graham.
Chester, he switches to center, and Josh Laribas takes over at right guard. Toss to Morris, ball out, recovered by Washington on second down. Kaepernick keeps it again, and down he goes in the arms of Brandon Graham.
Markey shifts, second down and 8. Off the fake to Stacy. Davis hitting Zach Stacy, but Brandon Graham is right there. Second down and 5. It's Stacy, and he loses the football. Recovered by Thornton. What a day he's had. Cedric Thornton already has a touchdown today. And he is tackled at the 24-yard line of the Rams.
And all the other stuff.
Crowd was booing because the Giants took a timeout. And Massiv's going to get sacked, lose the ball for the moment, try to recover it. Brandon Graham comes in, and the Giants will retain possession.
Ellington again, and wrapped up and knocked down. Brandon Graham.
Third down and 6. Texans must get to the 25. Fitzpatrick under pressure, and he's taken down. Ball comes loose. Eagles have it. Kendricks on the recovery. The question is, was Fitzpatrick down?
Play clock down to 3. Newton gets the snap off. The Eagles bring 5, and Cam lost the football. The Eagles had it, lost it, and who's got it on the bottom?
Carolina. Mike, Carolina's just not ready for the blitz at all. This isn't one of them.
Second and 9, and another sack of Newton. This one by the former Michigan Wolverine, Brandon Graham.
Second and 3. Starks again, cutting back. Good play is made. 20-point game, and Romo is brought down. That's Graham. And this Eagles defense continues to play well. Well, first it was the kickers in Dejas. And here he is staggering off the field after taking a hit on a kickoff. And then here you are. I mean, how about that defense that you and Jimmy had to deal with early in your career with the Philadelphia Eagles?
Hey, those guys.
Takes the clock all the way down. Once again, Murray tackled for another loss behind the line of scrimmage.
With Coleman 9, he's out. Devontae Freeman in his second year with the Falcons is the back now. He'll take it to the left. He'll get pulled and brought down. That's good penetration, starting with Fletcher Cox, one of an outstanding trio of defensive linemen, young, good linemen for the Eagles. So the defense is new with Dan Quinn coming in, and so is the offense. Kyle Shanahan, son of the Super Bowl winning coach Mike Shanahan.
2 tight end formation for the Redskins. Here is Morris. Morris is going to be knocked back for a loss of 1. Good hustle by Benny Logan, the Eagles' nose tackle.
Are very minimal ones where it's not turning over the football.
Third down and 9. Running for his life is Cousins. And Cousins is going to be tackled. We have a flag down, and let's see if there's a holding call against the Redskins. Final seconds of this third quarter. Second down and 10. Cousins completes the pass to the big tight end. And it's Jordan Reed. And a loose ball. Ball jarred loose. And the Eagles have recovered. So the Redskins, who are moving it nicely until the turnover, as Jordan Hicks recovers the fumble.
Barwin is walking the tackle back into Manning's face. The sack is credited to Brandon Graham. But right now, Connor Barwin is getting the best of Marshall Newhouse. Number 49, Eagles rush 4. Right in Manning's face, Cox knocks it out. And the Giants get back on it. It was a fumble. It'll be 4th down. Fletcher Cox forced 2 fumbles last week. Well, it's a short week, and it's also Cowboy week. Manning again. This time the ball comes out one more time into the hands of Flowers, the left tackle, and they got Eli low, and a flag comes down at the back end of all of this. Brandon Graham's put on a lot of pressure tonight.
3rd and 14. And it's stripped away, and then Castle's able to recover it. Brandon Graham comes in from the corner. McFadden didn't fool anybody, and it's Brandon Graham at the point of attack. Meanwhile, the Cowboys have some work to do in a vital game for them. And the ball is loose, and it's recovered by Dallas. It was stripped away by Brandon Graham.
With 4:26 left, 8th play of the drive coming up, 3rd and 8. They need the 47. Albert the block at the left tackle. Here comes Cox. Tannehill got away, cradles the ball. Down he goes. Sacked back at the 30.
Correction, that was the second timeout by the Eagles. They have one remaining. It is 3rd down and 12, and they'll hand it off to Martin, who stopped in his tracks. Good play made there by Brandon Graham, a loss of 3.
He has gotten better protection, certainly, than he was getting just a few weeks ago. 2nd and 15, and Abdullah is swallowed up. Good play by Brandon Graham, who's from Detroit.
Have served, are serving, and those who will serve. Brady sacked back to the 30. First game back for Amendola in 2 weeks, 6 catches for better than 60 yards. This time Brady will not get away from Brandon Graham, and there is a penalty flag in the backfield. It's going to be holding against New England.
Philadelphia had this year at the time of Jim Kelly's firing, as Jennings is met immediately by
Time running down on RG3, and you get the snap off. And that play goes nowhere. Crowell couldn't get started. It looked very confused in the backfield. The Browns starting a deep hole back at their own 8-yard line. Griffin running out of time. Lost the ball, recovered it, but inside his own 5-yard line.
Fake to Jeremy Langford. Cutler in trouble, and he gets yanked down by Brandon Graham.
a man who can move.
2nd and 18. Again, the pressure, and the ball is on the ground, picked up by the Eagles. Brandon Graham with the recovery. Fletcher Cox forced the ball out of the hands of Big Ben. Here they come in on him. This is what you're talking about, Phil.
This is what I talked about early in the game, too. Everything's a setup, Tom. They put him in the backfield. They set something up.
They're going to pitch it to him. Cuts it back to the inside. Spins away from one tackle. But then is finally corralled by the Detroit native Brandon Graham, who threw him to the deck. Doing. So Philadelphia says before this game, we've got a fighting chance to win this one. That one batted away, but you know, you look at the next 6 opponents will actually include Minnesota here today.
This time it is Morris not going anywhere. Stop for a small loss on what could be the final play of the quarters.
Cautious with him, but it looks like he's going to be okay. That's Lewis in motion. Handoff to Jennings, and what a play up front made by Graham.
Ryan. Pressure up the middle, and he is sacked. He got big pressure up the middle from Cox, but it was Brandon Graham to finish him off.
Some of the hits, everybody remembers what happened in the playoff game last year. The shot to the head on Antonio Brown, which led to his 3-game suspension to begin this year. But it cannot be denied.
The style that Marty Morningwood plays with.
Ravens start from the 12. Play action. Flacco in trouble. Down he goes inside the 5-yard line. Brandon Graham along with Bo Allen.
First half, Eagles get the ball to start the second half. So big drive here for the Giants. First and 10 run with Jennings goes nowhere. Brandon Graham erases that.
And
Here are the Cowboys with Alfred Morris. Who gets buried? Who else? Brandon Graham again with the play.
Do that in your first game of the season in a 2-minute drive.
Second down and 3. Cousins hit as he throws. Ball is loose. It's Fletcher Cox who takes it in for an Eagles touchdown. On the 4th Redskins turnover of this game. Slash NFL or text Red Cross to 90999 to donate $10. It's Brandon Graham again. His second sack.
Here's Smith. Has time. Pressure. Standing up and dropped again. And so the Eagles' second wave of pressure is getting there. It was Jernigan and Graham, and that's their 3rd sack of the day.
Do they come back inside and try to find another hot hand?
Palmer in the pocket, swallowed up by the Eagles. Back inside the 30.
Defensive line, the defense has to carry him.
After a loss of 2. Brought down right away. Fitzgerald, his second catch of the game, goes nowhere.
From behind and in front of him, they wallop Newton back at the 46.
Well, C.J. Beathard and the Niners go back to work, and Beathard is sacked back at the 19-yard line by Brandon Graham.
Shotgun for Osweiler. 7-3 lead for Philadelphia. Charles gets swallowed up by Brandon Graham. And we check in with Evan.
Well, and you're right. I think it looked worse.
Playmakers over there. That's what makes this defense so exciting.
Prescott. And he'll get taken down at the 15-yard line. Brandon Graham.
3rd and 2. Out of the pistol. Howard has it, and he's stacked up. He ran into a brick wall led by Brandon Graham. So maybe that gets the Bears going. Trubisky in trouble. Graham! Strip sack! Ball is loose! And Chicago recovered. Or maybe not. Bobby Massey alert.
Cloudy, but no rain tonight. 45 degrees, and they start with a Mike Davis run that goes nowhere. Brandon Graham right there to stop him. Loss of 1.
But really, the resume very short for Mike Davis as a Seahawk.
Yeah, you saw Lacey on the sideline, the former Packer, and Wilson's going to get smothered at the 7-yard line. We were talking about Brandon Graham, and there he is to set up a 4th down and long.
And just continue to give your defense a chance to win.
3rd and 4. Wilson's going to get swallowed up at the 33-yard line. That's Barnett, the rookie, coming in for the sack, so it's 4th down.
Game, they lose the head-to-head. They would have been swept by the Seahawks, so that's a huge game coming up. It's lateral time. Austin. And it's taken by Philly and Brandon Graham for the touchdown. Eagles win it. And they go to 11-2.
They didn't know the difference between a zone blitz and a man blitz.
It's
they
over.
didn't need it tonight. Speaking of blitzing, off the edge comes Brandon Graham. Well, what a year he's having.
And certainly Alexander will be part of the concussion protocol. Marshawn Lynch, excellent penetration by the Eagles, and they stop that play for no gain.
From the 38. Getting stuffed by Brandon Graham is Devontae Freeman. 2nd and 2.
Uh-oh.
Brady gets hit. The ball is out. And Philadelphia has it. Derek Barnett comes away with it. Brandon Graham was one of the guys who got in there.
Around here.
And games have ebbs and flows. That one never ebbed. This drive starts with a little toss to the left side, and Freeman can barely get out of his own way at that point. The Eagles read it perfectly, knock him down for a loss. It's Brandon Graham there.
6-point lead. They led by 20 in the 3rd quarter as Barber is hit for a loss by a swarming Eagles defensive unit.
Soft-spoken from Honolulu, Hawaii. Derrick Henry has to fight just to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Tested. Cousins has been outstanding. Here's Rock Thomas swallowed up in the backfield.
Well, what a change of events. I mean, you've got Jay. Right gains 34, longest play of the day for the Panthers on offense. Now Newton can't find anyone, and he will be sacked for the second time. Brandon Graham, first one in for the Eagles.
As we go along here, they start from deep in their own territory at the 9-yard line. Prescott in the pocket. For the moment avoided the sack, but not as Brandon Graham is able to get in there. And they really needed somebody like him. Look out. And again, Prescott's going to go down. You got Brandon Graham and Chris Long in tandem for 36 yards and a touchdown there. So Olawale in the fullback. Toss it to Elliott. And Elliott will get taken down by the neck.
Touchdown pass in over 3 years. Week 12 of 2015, the last time that Sanchez threw a touchdown pass. And ridden down by Graham. One of the heroes of last year's Super Bowl, all but clinching the game with his strip sack of Tom Brady back then.
Giving this team a psychological boost. 3rd and 8. Pressure on Prescott. Ball comes out. Picked up by Philadelphia. That is the 3rd takeaway for this Eagles defense. As Michael
Ball stuff and finish at least with an 8-8 record. Right away, making the stop is Brandon Graham on Adrian Peterson.
Boy, he's been playing well.
Here's Brees and Kamara against the wall and has nowhere to go. Felt he'd have a big day today. They tried to no avail. 3rd down. Here comes a blitz. Brees slipped. Ball is loose. Flag 2. Picked up by Philadelphia. Brandon Graham jarred it loose. And the Eagles have it.
They have a chance to get everybody reset as Rodgers keeps balls out. And recovered by Philadelphia and Brandon Graham. Big play was made by Derek Barnett.
The Eagles have the worst pass defense in the NFL. Falk will chest it. Here comes Graham. Down goes Falk. Back at the 18. 3rd and 6. Falk blocked by Griffin, the tight end. Look out from behind. Brandon Graham comes in, makes the stop. Luke Falk, crumpling pocket and down with Graham with his 2nd sack today. Brandon Graham. 3rd down and 4. Cousins wrapped up. Down he goes. Brandon Graham, career high 3 sacks last week against the Jets.
This is what they call pounding the beef time. Run the football. They're going to try and impose their will if at all possible.
O'Neal grew up as an Eagles fan in Delaware.
3rd and 6. Gusting wins. Allen from the pocket, and the ball is out. A member of the Bills swiped his arm at it. Looked like Josh Allen got it back. And more on this game. Josh Allen to run. The ball is out. His 2nd fumble of the game, and the Eagles look like they got to this one. And they did. It's an Eagles takeaway. Brandon Graham. Pressure is picked up, and Allen is not going far. Brandon Graham, another big play from him today.
And again, they go to Montgomery, and he is knocked back for a loss on the play. Trubisky with an empty backfield and a lot of receivers on 1st down from the 25. Nowhere to go, and he's sacked back at the 22-yard line by Brandon Graham.
Rashad Penny in the game in the backfield, and they'll fake to him. Wilson pressured, senses, and tripped up. Brandon Graham in hot pursuit.
Because everyone expects that to be a win, but they're playing better, and their offense can really give you fits.
3rd and long, and it's another sack at the quarterback. Brandon Graham and Malcolm Jenkins met at Russell Wilson.
And that's the first carry since 2017 for Ferguson. Now Peterson back in there, and he's not going anywhere.
Because he had to face some adversity and probably criticism for the first time in his football life.
Swarming Philadelphia defense there. Wound up in the bottom of the pile at that tackle. Third down, and Jones is buried by Brandon Graham.
On second down, Gibson again wrestled down for a loss. That's Brandon Graham with a big play.
We'll listen for the from the offensive lineman. Nope, it's quiet. It's a pass. Goff in trouble, and Goff goes down. The sack for Brandon Graham. Welcome back to the lineup.
Little surprise.
Yeah, I was going to say no. Maybe would expect them to just take a knee. Instead, Burrow's going to take a shot, and he is sacked. Boyd, 10 catches, 125 yards. First and 10 Bengals as Burrow is sacked. And it's Brandon Graham again for Philly.
New set of downs for Roethlisberger and the Steelers. The handoff to Connor.
Who's that on the end? Is that Jason Kelsey?
That is Jason Kelsey in the Mummers outfit at the victory parade after the Super Bowl.
Nice. Spin move didn't work for J.K. Dobbins. 3:07 to play in this third quarter. Out of the pistol. Jackson steps up, avoids it, avoids another. Still going. Jackson nearly spun down and finally is finished off. Brandon Graham there defensively for Philly.
Jones in trouble. Ball's knocked out by Graham. And recovered by Philadelphia as they're going to win the ball game. Graham knocked it out. Vinny Curry recovered it. And that defensive front steps up and makes a play.
Ghost motion here. Danucci look out from behind, and he gets taken down at the 17. That ball is out as well. And it's Brandon Graham who comes into the game third in the league in sacks, and he has another. And that's a turnover.
Browns had a comeback win against the Bengals earlier this year, too, in Week 7. Played them twice. Nothing there for Chubb. Brandon Graham right there for it.
Very smart instincts as a football player.
On the ground, here's Chris Carson. Won't get back to the line of scrimmage. And Lockett wants to call plays and draw up plays. Russ said he thinks he's quarterbacking back at Kansas State.
It's hard to figure out which one deserves it more right now. They both have been sensational. Oh, we got a little mishap as Aaron Jones unable to get it cleanly, and Cox and others are on him, dropping him back at the 19-yard line on a loss of 6.
Third down at 4. Dalton chased by Brandon Graham. He takes him down. The Pro Bowler, first time in his 11th season, comes up with the sack, forcing a Dallas punt.
So Marcus Epps go out for Philadelphia. Tavon Wallace in a safety position. Oh my goodness! Davis gets smoked by Brandon Graham. A key miscue. Goff picks up the drop snap, and Cox is going to get to him with Graham. Wentz is looking in that direction. Nothing there, and the pocket collapses. Brandon Graham is there. Another Philadelphia sack, their 4th of the opening quarter. Off the play fake. Wentz, another drop back where he has to scramble and move, and that ball may have come out loose. Brandon Graham may have knocked it away, and Philadelphia has taken over inside the 25 of Washington.
With that wide receiver playing running back on one of those linebackers, right? And that's a mismatch for any offense.
Wentz under pressure. It is another sack, the first of the second half for Philadelphia.
Indy still needs yards for a shot. Ryan is sacked. He got swallowed up at the 33. Brandon Graham. Big time play for Philadelphia.
3rd and 7. Eagles bring 5. Rodgers in trouble and sacked. Hassan Reddick, Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox. Some of the big names up front.
Getting Jordan Davis back on the field. Hopefully he's healthy. We saw him limp off earlier. Stout against the run as well.
Tannehill pressured, in trouble, and he's sacked again. Number 5 on the day for Philadelphia, and it's Brandon Graham.
Element to it where he's as dangerous as anybody, still developing in that pocket side of things. Here's Jones getting sacked by Graham. There are flags down on the snap there. They came flying. You know, last year to this year, from 4-13 to in the playoff pictures, this is a sack from behind by Graham. Ball comes out and the Eagles have it. It's recovered by Patrick Johnson after Brandon Graham got his third sack of the day.
You know, Philadelphia do some things that are out of the ordinary. You know, some turnovers, some negative plays, and we have not seen that at all here today.
Pressure. Prescott is sacked. Second one by Philadelphia today. Graham got there and so did Sue.
Eagles rush 4. Dalton. Sacked. Brandon Graham. New career high. His 10th. Dalton back at quarterback. He's been really sharp today. He's sacked here. It's Brandon Graham's second of the afternoon. No touchdowns, one pick. 1st and 10 here. Finds the pocket and gets sacked. Brandon Graham.
Whose real estate is that?
First third down of the drive. They're 0 for 3 on third today. Wilson in trouble and he's sacked. Jordan Davis dropping Zach Wilson at the 24, and the Eagles defense stands tall again.
4th round draft pick. Prescott, pressure coming, and he is dropped. Brandon Graham gets home. Pressure again. Prescott in trouble. Sacked again. But there's a penalty in the secondary, so hang on.
Don't try and do too much here. Extend with your legs if you have to. Buy time.
Backpedals to the 30. In trouble. He's not going to get away this time. Brandon Graham got to him first. And then Reddick helped close the deal.
He may have gotten the worst of it. Now 3rd down and 9. Locke is in trouble and sacked. Brandon Graham, the first guy there.
1st and goal from the 5. Carter again. Brandon Graham drives him down. A loss of 2 from the captain.
Right now they're averaging 5.5 yards a carry.
Here's Rachaad White bottled up here, and there's nowhere to go, and the Eagles make a play. See what Scrappy brings us as Mayfield is protected, and now time runs out. The Eagles get a sack.
Blitzes and helps Jalen Hurts, and he can still play at a high level. Pro Bowl.
Here's Rachaad White, bottled up, a loss on the play. Darius Slay.
Jacobs up the middle. He's hit in the backfield. Philadelphia gets to him in time.
Fake to early. Pressure on Mayfield, and he is drilled. Ball comes out. They say he is down. Brandon Graham got home in his 15th year and still producing.
From the Eagles 20, they keep it on the ground this time with Foreman. And he will lose a yard, brought down by Jordan Davis.
And this is an important moment for you, really.
You
can grab this.
Looking to throw, and he is completely smothered.
Off the play fake. Dancing. Look out. Daniels spins. Taken down to the 37-yard line by Brandon Graham. On 2nd and 2. Eckler in motion. Daniels will keep it. And stuffed. Brandon Graham right there. Robinson in the backfield. Robinson, no sir. So now you got a 4th down coming up with 8.5 left in regulation. You got Graham there. You got Vaughn there. In fact, they lost the yard.
Bringing 4. Graham hits Stafford. Brandon Graham, 36 years old, in game 206, more than any Eagle ever.